Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our Two of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Strength card in its upright. A lot of work that we're seeing right now, working through a lot of this energy coming out of that full moon in Aries. And we spoke a lot about navigating through energetic frustration, feeling a little bit of that intensity, moving it into productive spaces and places. This is difficult work. This is a lot of that tenacity that is potentially required right now. So for a lot of the energy right now, this sense of, again, I want to say prioritization, working to make things energetically easier. A lot of this energy right now, this is where all of that transformational process is occurring. It's a lot of that amplification to a certain extent that is allowing for that moment of breakthrough. But it's difficult, it's challenging, because in the process of doing so, there's a lot of work that is happening in relationality to making things energetically easier. So we're getting here, it's like a lot, I want to say like a lot of decluttering to a certain extent, energetically, emotionally, practically, right? It's just like, it's a lot of that sense or that space, but I need to stress this. A lot of the reason that we see that this is occurring right now, particularly for energy deep within divine union, is the recognition of feeling the moment of prioritization in relationality to what feels like it creates that sense of being energetically stronger. So all of this energy right now, I'm seeing deep within divine union, having that energetic security right now is creating a sense or space of being able to do something in a more easy and streamlined way. And it feels, I want to stress this right now, a lot of that work, a lot of that amplification point, it feels like that sense or that space of, I want to say it feels like relief to a certain extent. Right? Because we saw, and I want to stress that one of the reasons that this is occurring right now is bearing in mind that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, what did we see? What was happening? That sense or that space of confidence by way of the energetic counterpart, that's creating a lot of that ability in terms of being able to do something in an energetically easier way, right? So that ability to innovate, right? That ability to be able to make conscientious decisions, putting that work in. There's a lot of activation that's happening right now. And a lot of it is coming from a state or space of deep energetic security. And that's really important, specifically for the energies. I want to stress this. For the energy deep within divine union, I have to say that for some of that, we saw that was like potentially changing some practices right now, changing some energetic routines, potentially even, again, getting to the heart of situations and circumstances that are allowing for a sense of stabilization. And that's going to bring us to the conversation in relationality to what's occurring with the energy that is coming into divine union right now. What were we seeing for so much of that energy coming into divine union right now? That ability of identifying what those barriers were, either in past energetic connections or identifying what those barriers are in the present energetic connection. This is a lot of the energy that is coming into that state or space of healing a lot of those intimacy wounds. This is hard work. We spoke about this yesterday because that sense of becoming closer. Sometimes when we become close to someone, we start to feel a lot of that anxiety. We feel a lot of those fears rising up. Are these energies that are moving away from one another at that time? Are these the energies that are allowing the abandonment wound to push them in a direction that is oppositional to that they desire to go in? No. This is a lot of that energy that is feeling that point of stabilization because they recognize that they're doing something in a way that they haven't before, but they're also recognizing and seeing the energetic results of that work. So that ability of seeing that, feeling that energetic intensity, but also recognizing that it is allowing you to effectively heal to a certain extent. This is a lot of that energy that is doing something in a way that they haven't before, but they feel like they are getting energetically stronger in the process. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, I just see a lot of stabilization and security that is occurring right now for energy that is in separation, in relationality to feeling the stability in terms of the choices that you have made thus far. And for a lot of that energy in separation, simply being able to energetically prioritize, and I see this even now, this is a lot of the energy that is potentially looking back in relationality to experiences from the past and effectively, again, articulating upon what their path work is. Because so much of this energy that we're seeing right now, why is the energy in separation? Because this is the energy that is now looking at situations from the past and saying, I guess we wanted different things, right? That ability of working through, and this is where we see a lot of the energy right now, potentially even in conversation, round and based upon partnership, looking towards something and observing and saying that ability to build forth into healthy partnership requires, it's not a nice to have, it's a need to have, having the same points of priority. So if this is energy that finds themselves in separation, and there was a modality of recognizing, again, either what one desires and what it takes to have what one desires, this is either the energy that's articulating to someone and saying, navigating and healing from experience where someone articulated that they wanted something but did not show the ability to espouse the changes necessary within the self to be able to move towards that thing with greater efficiency. This is a lot of that energy that is feeling that sense or stabilization in potentially meeting other energetic counterparts who have gone through same. And that was a lot of that validation process that we recognized was potentially happening over that Aries full moon that is leaving, like creating, I want to say, and again, this is some of that Scorpio energy coming in. A lot of that security and a lot of the message I see that the energy in separation is navigating is it's not just enough to desire something. You have to be strong enough to move towards it. It's not just enough to want something. You have to be able to do the things that are energetically necessary in order to push through like those limitation points. And what's nice about this is I see a lot of the energy in separation potentially encountering new energetic connections that recognize and identify same. Center card, whoa, yeah, it's Scorpio season. I just want to say, I don't know if you saw it, the cards were a little low, like half the deck just split, and guess what was on the top of the stack? There it is. We've got, this is one of the cards I associate with Scorpio energy. I was just talking about this prior, like, you know, but this is our Scorpio card right here. We've got the Death card, center of this was out. This was out just yesterday. It's back out today. Scorpio season's upon us. Scorpio season, transformation. Being ready to uncover those parts of the self, being able to look at oneself with a deep sense of energetic scrutiny, but also a lot of acceptance, right? Because that sense or that space, right? And we're gonna get, this is the season for it. Often during this period of time, we have a lot of that energetic shadow rising to the surface, right? But our own ability to navigate that, right? To navigate our own like heavy waters to a certain extent, this is what allows us to come through to the other side. So we see even now like a lot of that energy. What was this conversation that we were just having in relationality to what the experience is for a lot of the energy in separation, potentially saying to someone, again, it's not enough just to energetically want something. It's not enough just to say that one aspires and desires for it. One must be ready for the transformational process that occurs in the process of moving towards an energetic manifestation goal. And so we see even now, like the one benefit that's occurring for a lot of the energy in separation is, look at this vitality here. Look at this like combination. We've got a lot of energy right now that is in separation, articulating and saying that the ability to manifest, to know what one desires, is matched with the strength to be able to maintain it and the ability to be able to change for it, right? So there's a lot of this energy right now that's in separation, that's just navigating from a space of deep energetic commitment towards one's own personal goals, right? And this is a lot of the energy right now. And what's beautiful about this is I don't even see this is happening so much in the vector of speaking towards communication. Like this doesn't feel even energetically like someone that is like, chasing after energetic connection to a certain extent. This is the energy that feels like a lot of that process of doing so is a journey towards the self, because this is energy in separation that has recognized that as they're trying to move towards energetic partnership, they're seeing it more as a journey of the self, because this is the energy that says, even if that does not lead to energetic union, there's a lot of this energy that I can see a lot of energy almost saying to someone, I was looking for the perfect partner and I found my perfect version of self along the way. I became the energetic thing that I was seeking, right? So a lot of that energy here, feeling very, I want to say, validated and in a point of deep energetic acceptance in relationality to where they are right now. This is very beautiful. This is very beautiful energy. It might be a little sardonic because that's a Scorpio energy for you. It's very beautiful because there's a lot of acceptance in that energetic process that's occurring here. And it's allowing for a lot of active transformation. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is what we were talking about. This is literally what we were talking about in the idea of the energy saying, like we were talking about that sense of someone saying, how's it going? And just looking at someone with a smile and being like, awful, right? But that sense of awfulness, like that smile, as you're going through an energetic transformation process, why is this energy smiling? Because this is the energy that recognizes and identifies and says, if we're trying, we're being. There's no trying, right? There's a lot of this energy that's saying, moving with a sense of confusion, but conviction on the same trajectory, holding the same prioritization point. This is the energy that's reminding themselves as they do so, we're not trying to be in the perfect relationship. We are actively doing so. We are actively creating it. We are actively working towards that energetic outcome. And this is the energy that is showing the conviction. What did we say? The strength of purpose and the ability to adapt and change to accommodate towards that unified goal. So this is beautiful combination energy for a lot of the energy moving deeper into divine union. Same to be said for the energy deep within divine union. For the energy deep within divine union right now, this is more about making choices. This is more frustrating right now because there's a lot of that energy that feels like they're making those energetic choices right now. And a lot of that work in making energetic choices right now, it's difficult. It's hard. Right? But it's also the energy that is feeling that vitality and readiness in doing so, because this is the energy that feels more of that strength in adaptability. So we see even now a lot of this, I want to say a lot of this change energy, but a lot of stability in the process of that energetic change. Next two cards in our 5-card spread for today are, we have here our 10 of Wands in its upright in combination with our 6 of Wands in its upright. Two beautiful cards to see in our deck. This is an incredible powerhouse of cards today that we're opening our spread upon, because there's a lot of this energy that feels to a certain extent like they've already had a bit of that energetic breakthrough. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, there's a lot, I want to say, there's a lot of this energy that just, I want to say, isn't holding on to things as preciously as they previous did in the past. Why is that occurring? Because there's a lot of this energy here that is being much more adaptable, right? We see even now, this is a lot, I want to say this is a lot of spiritual or even tangible transformation here. So this could be planning out for the future. This could be travel. This could be a lot of that effort, but it also feels like the completion of energetic cycles. So even here, we see that there's a lot of that sense of putting in a lot of work right now, but it's amplified by feeling that sense that in the process of doing that work, that in itself is the energetic arrival towards manifestation goals that is occurring. Because we see even now, this is the energy that is reminding themselves that they're not trying, they're doing. Like there's no trying. If you're articulating upon trying, and this was coming through very heavily, if you're articulating upon trying, then you're just putting a qualifier on your doing. There's no trying. Trying is just a qualification that you put on the act of doing something. So this is a lot of the energy that says that sense of actively doing it. It's like the desire of wanting to be more perfect in it, but also reminding oneself that that sense or that space of doing it in itself is doing it, regardless of the quality of, like, trying is just saying that you want to get better at it, right? So we see even now, like, a lot of that energy, this is what the energy, remember, what was the energy saying to one another deep within divine union? If this is the energy saying, bear with me, I'm trying, this is the energy going, you're not trying, you're doing. You're being judgmental in terms of how well you're doing it, but rest assured you're doing it. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, this is the energy that is feeling that sense. Like I told you, the thing that is hard, that feels like it's impossible, that you say as you're doing it, I can't do it. And someone reminds you and says, but yet you are. But yet here you are, you're actively doing it. Because for masculine and feminine energy, that's a process that's requiring a deep amount of strength and a deep amount of transformation. Now that strength, I want to say, this is either feminine energy. If this is, and this depends, this can be a little bit different depending on where you fall in the frequency cycles. If this is feminine energy, feeling the vitality of working with masculine energy that is actively engaged in that work, of engaging in those energetic breakthroughs. There's a lot of feminine energy healing the rifts of the past that made them feel like they were weak because they could not change something, when they recognized that the reason they could not change something was because they were moving oppositional towards someone. And when you're moving oppositional towards someone, it can feel like you're energetically exhausted. Because that's that moment that you're like, you don't realize how strong you are because you're pulling and you don't realize that you're pulling all the energetic weight. While for masculine energy, a lot of this sense of transformation is potentially feeling that stabilization point, in feeling the safety and security to be able to go through an uncomfortable process of opening up. I told you, taking the inside, bringing it outside. It feels messy. It feels gross. A lot of the masculine being like, I don't know how to do this. But even in that sense or that space of doing so, this is the energy that says, and this is how it feels to do it. Right? That ability of doing so, that ability of coming into that space of being able to build forth in the realm of the emotionality, we just see a lot of this profound breakthrough that is occurring. Masculine and feminine energy and separation, there's something about the process of validation that is occurring right now in separation that is allowing for that sense or space of feeling stable and secure in one's energetic choices, right? And a lot of that affirmation I see for a lot of the energy in separation right now is that clarification point in reminding oneself that if you want to enact energetic change, it's not the work that you can do singularly by the self. It requires an energetic counterpart that both, it's not just enough to want the same thing. See? You have to have an energetic counterpart that can match your own strength and your own ability of being adaptable. This is what we talk about with energetic alignment, because this is the energy that is looking towards something and feeling that sense that when you're not in energetic alignment in that way, it doesn't feel like a parade. It feels like a march. It feels like something that is energetically heavy, because that's that sense or that space that you feel like you're carrying more energetic weight. So we see even now that a lot of that energy saying, I am looking for alignment. I am looking for someone that matches my vibe. I am looking for someone that matches my flow. I am looking for someone that is in the same energetic space as me in order to facilitate that path work that doesn't feel like a burden, but feels like a movement towards joy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Pentacles in its reversal, in combination with our Strength card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Swords. This is bittersweet energy here. Why? Because this is energy that is coming to terms with what is within their power to change versus what is outside of their power to it, like what is within the realm to accept. It's frustrating, right? It's frustrating moving forward in that way. Because in that state or space, that ability of, again, kind of just letting something go to a certain extent, right? Like that ability of, like, I see even now, like a lot of that path work is like the energy that is learning the strength to energetically let go, right? Because in that modality, in that space or place of being able to energetically let go, this is effectively the energy that works towards, right? Works towards that state or space wherein this is the energy saying, I don't want to feel like that sense, like, and this is the energy that feels like potentially frustrated in that, even in looking at some of those experiences in the past, because this is the energy that articulates and says that modality here, right? Even if it creates those spaces in the past where someone sees something in a different way, this is the energy that kind of puts her hands up and goes, I can't effectively help how someone else perceives that. I can't effectively help how someone else recognizes it, because it's a sense or the understanding of saying to oneself, when someone understands it, they will understand it, right? Like there's a lot of that energy saying, until you energetically feel it, you might not necessarily identify or understand or know it, right? So we see even now that this is a lot of the energy saying it's not just enough, right? It's not just enough to want something, but one must be, again, strong enough to be able to navigate, and also in that state or space of being adaptable enough to navigate the changes within the self that are required to move towards a manifestation goal. And this is the energy that says that ability of doing so, it can be frustrating, right? This is a lot of that energetic release in that Aries full moon energy, right? Like it can be frustrating, but like sometimes some things are frustrating, right? But again, I need to stress, and again, it's a little bit of that same message. It's a little bit of that same message, as it were, that we saw for the energy in separation, right? Because that is the energetic equivalent of someone saying to a certain extent that state or space, that modality of acceptance, wherein we recognize and identify what is within our power to change versus what is in our power to accept. This is the energy that moves through that process and feels the appreciation towards oneself. Because this is the energy that doesn't look towards someone that isn't in that modality and says, I better get them to understand. I better change them. I better try to get them into that space, or convincing them or helping them see. You know, this is the energy like in separation that says, again, I've made peace with it. I've made peace with it. And when we make peace with things, it's not, it's frustrating, yeah, but that's what energetic peace is to a certain extent, right? It allows for that modality of acceptance in such a way that one's own, I see even a lot of the energy meeting and encountering new energetic connections, and someone like saying to one another, your own ability of accepting situations as they are to a certain extent, like, you seem very energetically strong, right? Because again, this is a lot of the energy that's in separation that says, I see the energy almost saying in separation, it's not that I'm strong. I just do a lot of work in terms of recognizing what is an internal circumstance, something that can be changed within the self, versus what is external, which must be accepted. And for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, the differentiation point in this has to do with the changes that one is willing to make in order to prioritize. This is energy that is coming into alignment, specifically not because something is energetically easy, but the level and degree of self-awareness and energetic conviction that is necessary to be able to move towards energetic alignment, right? This is a lot of the energy coming into divine union that's saying kind of, it's not easy, but so long as we're both prioritizing in that way, there's nothing that we can't energetically do. Because this is the energy that's almost saying to one another, we're doing what we have to do because we are prioritizing the energetic connection. And this is a moment that I see even now is deeply strengthening and transformative for both of those energetic counterparts. Because these are not energies that are forcing one another into that modality. These are the energetic connections that feel the vitality of the counterpart that makes that conscientious choice. And when you have someone with you that you know and you feel that security and stability upon the choices that they make, that is the gift of healthy partnership. It is that sense of trusting another's energetic judgment in relationality to the choices they make and the prioritization point that they hold as they make those energetic choices. Continuing for energy deep within divine union right now, this is a lot of work right now, I want to say, of adjustments, accommodations, adaptability. It's just hard right now because I'm seeing for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, there's a lot of transformation happening around you right now, and it's requiring a high degree of adaptability. But this is a lot of the energy deep within divine union that's recognizing and identifying that sense or that space of the bow that bends but doesn't break, right? So being adaptable but not reaching a breaking point in the process, continuing to get clarification between our strength card in its upright in combination with our death card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our high priestess in its upright. Beautiful energy right now. Is going to have a bit of a different impact depending on whether you align to masculine or feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For a lot of the feminine energy right now, for feminine energy, deep within divine union, I just see that there's a lot of this work that one is doing right now in relationality to building into a point of appreciation as it relates to one's own sense of energetic stability and security. We like to see this because to a certain extent when we're effectively identifying right now is for a lot of the energy in that modality right now, that sense or space of prioritizing, right? And building into that prioritization point. A lot of this work is the feminine energy, I want to say, trusting in themselves and trusting in the process. Because I see even now that for a lot of that work that we're seeing for the energy deep within divine union, like a lot of that, there's a lot of that energy of the feminine that's healing from their own sense, like of building into a point of confidence. Right? There's a lot of that energy of the feminine right now that I'm seeing even now is feeling that vitality and security in terms of appreciating oneself and coming into a state of appreciation. Now, for masculine energy in this way, this is a lot of the masculine energy's work in relationality to, like, again, being energetically supportive towards counterpart and also feeling the energetic transformation in that process. Because we see even now that for a lot of that energy here, that sense of strength, and I want to say the difference that I'm seeing here is how one is navigating that feeling of energetic strength. For masculine right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, this is just a lot of the masculine working through a lot of externalized changes, making a lot of those externalized changes. For feminine, I see that this is more about the feminine being able to stay energetically composed in the process of a lot of energetic changes occurring around them. So we see even now, like, a lot of that work, it's hard. It's like, I want to say it's energetically difficult, but it's also reinforcing. It's also encouraging, because these are the energies that are appreciating one another as they go. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is the same exact energetic work that's effectively occurring for the energy coming into divine union. Because this is more of that work that we spoke about in relationality to the feminine, building into that point of energetic strength by being able to articulate through the emotions instead of react to them, right? And for a lot of the masculine energy right now, this is a lot of the masculine energy that is feeling the stability of the feminine, that is able to, again, articulate through the emotions instead of react to them, that then feels the emotional stability to open up, right? To be able to articulate upon those parts of the self that they don't typically bring forth, right? A lot of that energetic healing in relationality towards speaking towards the emotional space. So even here we see that these are the energies that feel like they're going through a deep energetic process that's requiring a lot of strength. It's not easy, but it's allowing, I can see the energy being like, yeah, this sucks. It's hard. But it's getting easier because I'm getting stronger as I learn to do it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is in separation, this is a lot of the energy in separation that's trusting in themselves. Both in the, and this is very important, because now we're seeing like a big difference that's happening right now in the message between what is occurring for a lot of the feminine energy in separation versus the masculine energy in separation, right? And this is some heavy stuff. Like, this is some heavy stuff that's being unpacked here for some of the energy in separation, particularly articulating upon those experiences of the past. For masculine energy, I see a lot of this masculine energy that is effectively articulating and saying that, you know, a lot of those choices, this is masculine energy that's saying even now, like, that ability of moving forward, the difficulty, right? Like the difficulty potentially required in doing so. But this is, again, I need to stress this is energy of masculine that focuses on what feels like it is something that is energetically best. So what is the masculine basically articulating to feminine, which is that sense of conscientiousness, of saying to the feminine, you know, it took potentially a lot of energetic strength to move away from something because the nature of it was such that, I want to say, like, there's a lot of masculine energy articulating to feminine that their own conscientiousness in moving away from an energetic connection because they felt like it was best was an energetic breakthrough, right? I can see a lot of the masculine saying that, because this is a lot of the masculine energy that is doing that work in articulating and defining, like almost saying to someone in a certain way, doing what one felt was best was the hard thing to do, but feeling that sense of trusting the energetic process to a certain degree. Well, and even there, I see that there's a lot of that masculine energy in separation, that, I see a lot of the masculine energy saying, like, sometimes doing the right thing is like the hard thing, right? Like those hard choices, as it were. Well, for feminine energy in separation, there's a lot of this feminine energy that's articulating the same thing back towards masculine, right? Because this is a lot of the feminine energy basically in separation, articulating upon that sense or space of being energetically patient. Like a lot of this energy of feminine almost coming into the space of saying, I'm not, and this is more of that conversation we saw was happening over the last few days. Remember, I told you the feminine energy that is articulating the fact between the patience of working with energy that is prioritizing the same thing versus being patient for an energy to choose. There's a lot of this energy that says, I'm not energetically patient to be chosen. I'm moving that modality of working with energetic counterpart that is determined what it is that they want going forward. And that's where the gift of my patience opens up in that vector, but not a moment before, right? So we see even now, like a lot of that energy speaking towards what it, like, I want to say, like, there's a little bit of splitting hairs that's potentially occurring right now for a lot of this energy in separation. But you can see why this energy is going through that process of splitting hairs. Why is the energy going through the process of splitting hairs? They're articulating and they're refining the manifestation goal in relationality towards what they're seeking. Continuing to get clarification between our Death card in its upright in combination with our Ten of Wands in its upright. Big cards together, guys. Big cards together. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Cups in its reversal. We're gonna talk about this a bit because it's important, particularly for the masculine energy right now that's in separation, that's working on healing. This may be feeling like a very emotionally volatile time right now. For masculine energy in separation. But I need to stress this because this is important, because this is the Knight of Cups in its reversal. And I need to point out that one thing that we see that is vitally important for the Knight of Cups in its reversal is I feel like there's a lot of this energy of masculine in separation that is navigating those energetic environments of regret. I'm going to say it again for the masculine energy, navigating points of regret. If you're coming into a space where you're emotionally opening up in a way that you haven't been able to before, then you are exactly where you need to be. You are right on time, because that ability of doing so is a breakthrough point. You should be proud of yourself. You should be congratulating yourself. You should be appreciating how far you've energetically come. But sometimes when we reach those moments and we recognize how far we've come, it hurts, right? Because we see things in a different way. We look back on things. We wish that we could have done something energetically different. If you're in that modality of navigating that, I see even now like a lot of that energy of masculine in separation, making energetic peace with the fact that they're going through a transformational process that they wish that they had come into sooner. I'm going to say it again for the masculine energy healing in that way. You're always on time. You're never late on your own path work. You're exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. And I see a lot of the feminine energy in separation effectively articulating that to the masculine in separation. Giving them that energetic boost of confidence, reaffirming to them that sense of energetic accountability is vital and important. And potentially a lot of the feminine energy, speaking towards their own experiences, where in their own perspective, their own understanding of, again, that difficult moment of seeing someone and recognizing that someone can sometimes be doing their energetic best. But if they haven't learned come into that space, a lot of that energy saying that's a hard thing for a lot of the masculine energy to work through, because so much of the masculine energy has been taught or shown to push away from their emotions instead of being able to embrace them. While for masculine and feminine energy, I hear the same exact conversation happening right now for the energy coming into divine union, which is a good thing. Because whenever we see these energies coming into alignment, it means that there's a lot of new energy that's moving, like there's a lot of fluidity between. So we see even now a lot of that energy facilitating forward, coming into partnership, doing that work. It's not easy. It's not easy in different ways. As we articulated, feminine, maintaining energetic composure as they experience their emotionality, articulating through it instead of reacting to it, internalizing the external process. Masculine energy, trying to externalize the internal process, taking those energetic emotions that they keep within, trying to bring them forth without. You can see how both of these energies are trying to do something that feels counter-oppositional to them. In the process, having a breakthrough. Having that moment of feeling that sense of, again, strength in something that is getting easier to do, that is allowing for breakthroughs. Masculine and feminine coming deep within divine union. A lot of this energy right now, maintaining energetic composure to a certain degree. There's a lot. It's a lot right now for the energy deep within divine union. There's a lot of stuff happening. I just see it. A lot of this energy just kind of working to prioritize being very energetically patient as they go. For feminine, again, it's a lot more of that, maintaining, it's the same message, maintaining the energetic composure. Masculine, prioritizing rest. Masculine, not feeling energetically guilty in prioritizing rest. Both of these energies right now, again, what do they like? It's not surprising that we see these energies not in the same exact space, because counterpart energy often is able to do what the other needs at the time that they need it. So what are these energies saying? What do you need right now? If masculine needs to prioritize rest, feminine says, go take a nap, take that rest. If masculine sees feminine and says, what do you need? And this is the feminine saying, I'm sorry if I can't be emotional available to you, I need time. This is the masculine saying, take the time that you need. I'm not going to take it personally, right? Because these energies are in the process of doing a lot of things. So we see even now the recognition, what is unifying the energies? Moving towards the same transformative goal. So we see even now, this is not the energy that is focusing. I'm going to say it even now. The energy right now deep within divine union isn't prioritizing focus on the connection. And that's the beauty of being in a healthy energetic connection. It's like a little bit of a set it and forget it to a certain extent, because when you're in that modality, you see, this is the energy that's saying, I've got a lot of issues right now, but you're not one of them. You're not one of them. Continuing to get clarification right now between our 10 of Wands and its upright in combination with our 6 of Wands and its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, I love it. We've got here our Devil card in its reversal. So for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, just doing what you need to do, trying to take care of as much as you can take care of. And what I appreciate about a lot of this right now is this is a lot of the energy that is not that's really focusing on what that intentionality is. Doing a lot of that work and just saying to oneself, when you're trying to move in a when you're trying to do something, I almost see the energy right now that's giving each other permission and saying, good is better than perfect. like progress is better than no progress. Like making sure to build into that sense of appreciation, because I see even now that a lot of that energy, feeling the frustration and what needs to be done, but also trying to find the security and saying to oneself, there's no trying, there's doing, like you're just actively doing it. This is the energy that's being very compassionate on with themselves in the process, because this is the energy that says, so long as you're bringing that intentionality to something, everything's going to get done. It's just a question. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when, right? While for mass, and they're being adaptable, they're being easy with one another because they see the energetic pressure that's put upon them right now. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is a lot more of the energy that's focusing on the partnership. And it's hard because it's requiring those changes in the self, and it feels awful in a good way, right? It's hard in a good way. It's like this soreness you get after a good workout, which is like, I see even now, again, a lot of that affirmation being like, how are things going? Terrible. But you say it with a smile on your face, because that ability to feel that sense of accomplishment, learning to do things in a way that feels like it's oppositional to how you want to, but you're feeling the energetic breakthroughs and you're recognizing the changes within the self. This is the energy basically saying, as long as we're still motive, much like the energy deep within divine union, as long as we're prioritizing the same thing, it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. Energy and separation, kind of the opposite, saying, I'll wait. I'll wait. This is the energy that's saying in separation, I'll wait. Because what is the energy doing right now? Why is the energy in separation saying, I'll wait? Because this is the energy in separation that is valuing quality over quantity. This is the energy that says that refinement. This is why the energy is moving so slowly right now in separation. This is why the energy in separation is splitting hairs in relationality to what it is that they effectively want. Because this is the energy that says, better for it to be hard going forward, better to do the hard stuff now, better to get all that recognition point out, because that way, better to move with intentionality in the same direction than to find out halfway down the line you're going in very different directions, right? This is the energy saying, I'll wait, because this is the energy that basically says, I'll wait for what I know is in alignment to me. And I know that the energy that is in alignment to me will also be similarly conscientious in looking for energy that is in alignment to them, right? It's not if, it's just when. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Wands and its reversal in combination with our High Priestess and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Wands in its upright. A lot of wand energy today. A lot of wand energy. So there may be a lot of communication and planning. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. Like, this is a lot of the energy in separation. This is a little bit of that full moon in Aries hangover that we're seeing right now. The energy being like, I'll be frustrated. I'll be a little frustrated as I wait, right? Like, but this is the energy. What is this energy doing right now in separation? They're prioritizing their peace. They're prioritizing their peace. And what are they saying in that space of prioritizing peace? This is the energy in separation that says better to prioritize the energetic connection that brings with it peace, which would be alignment, than to welcome in an energetic connection that creates opposition. I told you, a lot of this energy in separation, healing from those experiences, from those modalities, understanding the energetic burden that often comes when you don't necessarily feel like you are in alignment with counterpart. Because when you feel like you're in alignment, when you're not in alignment with counterpart, things that feel easy feel energetically difficult, right? It's that moment that you try to pull an inch and it feels like you're getting like that tug in the opposite direction, because it's the intentionality of recognizing someone that's trying to move in a direction oppositional towards yours. So this is the energy that says better to wait energetically for the energy that's in alignment with me, that's moving in the direction as me, than to necessarily engage upon an energetic connection that feels like everything is an energetically struggle because we don't desire the same things. So this is a lot of that energy that is being very fastidious in relationality to partnership, determining what those manifestation goals are to avoid scenarios and situations that feel more like all of one's concentration has to be in doing the simplest things. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing coming into divine union right now is the energy doing something very energetically difficult. It feels like they're doing something energetically difficult. Why? Because the energy is prioritizing partnership like they haven't before. And they're finding when you prioritize something like you haven't before, you'll find things within you that you never dreamt were there. When you prioritize something that you have never, when you prioritize something in a way that you haven't before, you will find things within you that you never knew were there. And so what are effectively happening right now for masculine and feminine energy? Feminine is finding that space, I told you, the energy of the feminine who says, as long as we're moving in the same direction, my patience becomes limitless, right? For masculine, this is a masculine saying, so long as I feel safe in your energetic presence, I can be open and vulnerable to you like I never have before. So a lot of this energy, feeling that volatility within, working against it, reaffirming their own energetic commitment in the process, and working through their internal volatility as they work on those changes to be able to prioritize the healthy energetic connection. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, same exact energetic message to a certain extent. This is just the energy that's more aware of that. Energy deep within divine union recognizes and identifies that sense or that space of, again, I can see a lot of energy doing things that others would consider extremely difficult. And this is the energy saying it's no bother at all, right? Because this is the energy that feels that sense of gratitude towards one another and saying, for you, I get energetically stronger. For you, I can do energetically anything. Because this is a lot of that energy that is, again, working through a lot of that transformation process, but is just kind of in that space of acceptability and adaptability, because that's what effectively is energetically required. Masculine potentially needing to prioritize a little bit more rest right now. Feminine telling the masculine, hey, remember, energetic rest is not separate from your work. It is part and parcel to it. Masculine saying to feminine, do those things, like do that work the way that you need to do it, and recognize and identify. Don't be hard on yourself in the process of doing the things that you need to do, because I energetically trust you. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our High Priestess in combination with our Knight of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, we have here our Moon card in its reversal. If this bad boy looks familiar, it's because we started our reading yesterday with it and it's upright. So, again, what did we talk about yesterday? That really important, valuable lesson. There's no confusion as long as there's trajectory. Confusion with trajectory is learning. That feeling of uncertainty, but then navigating forward with the unified energetic goal. This is the energy that looks towards anything that feels energetically confusing and says to one another, it doesn't matter if there's a sense or a space of not knowing what we're going to encounter. We just know which direction we're going in, right? So even in that space, like that's that moment that it doesn't necessarily energetically matter, right? It's like, this is the energy. It's like, meh. Like, it's like, meh. We'll take care of it. Like that's the adaptability, right? Like we'll deal with it as it comes along. We'll just navigate it as it shows up, right? Because a lot of that work here we see and recognize is the articulation point of the energy that looks towards one another with clarity. When you trust another energetic counterpart, in that state or that space, like that's that modality of understanding that recognizes and identifies and feels that energetic security of trusting in one another to a certain extent and working through that in a way. This is the energy that says that the gift that they give one another is easement. In the easement, in making something energetically easier, in not needing to worry. I told you a little bit of this energy right now, deep within the divine union. The partnership is such that the last thing on the energetic counterpart's mind is the partnership. That's the gift of being in a gift of being in a healthy energetic partnership is you don't have to spend all of your bandwidth worrying about it, right? So a lot of that energy right now, deep within divine union, is able to focus and prioritize on other things. And that's what the energy is encouraging each other to do at this time. They're saying, don't worry about me. I've got my part. You do your part, right? While for masculine and feminine energy, this is the energy coming into divine union that's prioritizing that. This is the energy in divine union, coming into divine union that's prioritizing the ability to build into an energetic partnership that becomes energetically easier to such an extent that that modality comes where the security is there, so much so that it doesn't need to prioritize upon it, right? So this is a lot of the energy that is prioritizing that is the manifestation goal. And so we see even now, like this is the energy saying, whatever I need to do within the self to be able to build into something that creates that type of stability. This is the energy that is creating that sense of clarity for one another. And that's feeling, and the thing about it is it feels really confusing as they're doing so, because they're doing something that they've never done before. But we're going to say it again. What is confusion on a trajectory? It is learning. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Devil card in its reversal. For masculine and feminine energy right now, backing up for a moment, the energy in separation. This is the energy in separation that says to one another, I'm looking for someone that makes life easier instead of harder. This is literally the energy in separation. This is why there's so much energetic discernment that's happening right now for energy in separation, because this is the energy that says, I would rather patiently wait for the energy that is for me, that makes something easier, than potentially enter into an energetic connection wherein that difficulty arises, wherein that hurdle is created. This is the energy that says better to wait, right? Better to wait for that feeling of easement, because again, what's another way of saying I love you? You make something easy, right? And that doesn't mean the easy being like you don't care. That is the easy that we feel in terms of saying you bring joy to my life. You bring that amplification of easement, because the gift that we give each other is creating easement for one another. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. And this is why the energy is moving slowly in separation, because this is energy that is building upon that context of consistency. And there's one vector that you need in consistency, and that's time. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Devil card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. The clarification coming through right now. Look at this combo. Look at this combo today. Look at this. We've got here our Devil card in its reversal in combination with our Lovers card. So this is exactly what we were talking about in relationality to the fastidiousness that a lot of the energy in separation is navigating as it relates to healthy energetic connection. This is why we see that the energy right now is being very fastidious in order of navigating what those manifestation goals are, because that is that modality of saying, and I see even now a lot of that unpacking potentially about those past experiences, a lot of those lessons coming to the surface, a lot of those articulation points, because this is the energy that is telling one another and articulating about what that ideal partnership is, right? What that ideal partnership is, making sure that there's no miscommunication, right? This is the energy that just doesn't say, you want a relationship? Good, I want a relationship. And then goes down the line and goes, wait, what kind of relationship did you want? Like, this is not the energy that does that. This is the energy that says, let's build it together. Let's talk through, walk me through it. Tell me what that ideal would be. I'll tell you what my ideal would be. Let's refine it. Right? Because this is the energy that feels like they're creating that space together. And that ability of doing so, the conscientiousness is the care that they're showing towards one another, because they're saying, I'm not trying to waste your energetic time. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union. This is really hard, right? This is the energy saying, we're trying to get better. You're not trying, you're doing. If you're saying right now, if you're talking right now with counterpart, and you're saying, we're trying right now, we're trying. You're not trying, you're doing. If you're navigating that space, you've got that unified goal. You've got that unified perspective. You have prioritized the energetic connection above all. That space of working on the self in the process. There's no trying. Trying is the qualitative aspect that you give to the act of doing. So this is the energy that says, we're not trying, we're doing. We're doing it. So even here, masculine and feminine energy, again, coming into that space of correcting one another. Because if this is the energy that's looking at one another and saying, I'm not perfect, this is the energy saying, you don't have to be. Where'd you get that silly thought, right? So that's a lot of that energy saying, don't apologize if you're not energetically perfect, because your own conscientiousness towards it is indicative of your desire. Compassion desires to be perfect. Compassion often needs to be mitigated because it can make us feel less than ourselves if we don't give ourselves that same level and degree of compassion. So what do we see that is happening right now? There's a lot of that energy that is acting as clear mirrors to one another, deep within divine union, saying, hey, you're not trying, you are. You're not trying, you are. You're doing, you actively are. That sense of wanting to get better at who you are, that is because you care. And being able to navigate and mitigate that, that's the energy that says, I want you to prioritize and give yourself the same amount of compassion that you give me because I love you, right? So that's that battery that takes up, that heals one another, because that's the energy that comes into that space of wanting to do more and then says, hey, you got this. Like, I'm here, I'm supporting you. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Wands in its upright in combination with our Moon card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. We've got double 10 cards here. 10 of Cups in its reversal. A lot of those anxiety points, right? This is some of that Scorpio energy. A lot of that anxiety rising up, right? A lot of that uncertainty in relationality to what the future holds. What does the energy deep within divine union say to one another? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because this is the energy that says to one another as they proceed forward. When we navigate a confusing space, as long as we have trajectory, that is the sense of learning as we go. That is the sense of moving with intentionality. And that is the energy that says, no matter what occurs, I will be there with you. And that sense of energetic tenacity, that clarity that we provide one another, that is the context through which we create that energetic supportive environment. That's where love lives. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union. Same exact energetic message. This is a lot of energy that feels like things are not great right now. This is the energy saying there's a lot of work that we need to do. There's a lot of opening up. There's a lot of this energy going, I either see this energy going, I've never opened up like this before. or someone saying, I've never had someone invested the way that I am energetically invested. And so there's a little bit of this uncertainty as to what the future holds, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because this is the energy coming into divine union saying, I've never come this far with someone before. I've never reached this level of intimacy. I've never worked on something in a way that someone didn't run away from that work. And that's the validation point of the energy that's prioritizing the energetic connection, come what may. Masculine and feminine energy in separation, you can see where some of this frustration is rising up, right? For a lot of this energy of in separation, I need to stress this. This is not energy that is chasing after partnership right now. This is not energy in separation that is chasing after anything, to be perfectly honest. Because that sense of chasing after something would indicate someone that does not desire the same manifestation goals as the self. And so this is a lot of the energy that's almost articulating and saying to one another, I'm healing from those modalities wherein I felt like I had to chase after a manifestation goal, because that doesn't make any energetic sense. Why would I have to chase after someone if we're moving in the same direction, right? This is a lot of that energy that says what's for me, right, will be in alignment with me. And so that's the energy that says, and if someone isn't in that modality, well, then that's good. That's fine. Like, that's the energy. I'm not going to force someone. I'm not going to force them to be so. Because again, and this is a lot of the energy that says, because when you try to heal something that doesn't desire to heal, it doesn't feel like energetic healing. Right? So that's just a lot of that energy that's just in that modality and navigates that space. And I need to stress this. This is really important. That ability of coming to terms with something, this is how the energy in separation is recognizing one another. Right? Because this is the energy that also says, I'm not chasing and I'm not waiting. I'm not chasing and I'm not waiting. I am good. Like, that's the energy that says, I am, well, maybe the masculine energy is feeling a little more emotionally tender right now, right? Because this is the energy of the masculine, like coming into that modality of potentially saying, like, this is a little bit more of the masculine. And I want to say again, if you're masculine energy in this modality, giving yourself a bit of grace here. Because that ability of understanding that if you're coming into a space of understanding and saying, I'm learning how to open up. I'm learning how to communicate my emotions. That space of, again, that's the Aries full moon energy that says, I am a constant student. It is a blessing to be able to learn. I appreciate the fact that I'm recognizing that there's something that I can do better, because it is the amplification point that I am ever learning. We see even now a lot of this energy, and feminine saying a little bit of the same here. This is feminine saying, I can't take on the weight of doing another's homework, because when I take on the weight of doing another's homework, I don't facilitate growth. I facilitate stagnancy, right? This is the energy saying, again, both of these energies coming into that modality and separation and being very energetically mindful, looking for alignment. So we see even now, this is why the energy is being very discerning as they move into an energetic connection, because they're trying to refine and make sure that they desire the same long-term energetic ideals. Continuing to get clarification between our moon card in its reversal, in combination with our lovers in its upright. May I please have one card for clarification? Clarification coming through right now. Love it. We've got here our 8 of Swords in its reversal. Masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union. A lot of in separation. Let's start with in separation. I have to stress, there's a lot of this energy right now in separation. And I think that a lot of the energy in separation should be very appreciative of this. I feel like there's a lot of breakthroughs. There's a lot of energetic breakthroughs that are occurring right now for energy in separation. And those breakthroughs are beautiful, because that recognition point in I see a lot of that energy coming into that space of accepting, coming into that modality of acceptance, working through that to a certain extent. This is a lot of that energy in separation that I want to say, I feel like this Aries full moon, it created a lot of grounding, a lot of that feeling of energetic stability to a certain extent, because this is the energy that is prioritizing the nature of the energetic connection. And when you're prioritizing the nature of the energetic connection, it provides clarity, right? It's not about whether you feel energetically connected to someone, but you value and you weigh the energetic connection that you have with someone to ask oneself if you feel like it is healthy and restorative and balanced, or is it something that you are trying to heal from because it was not energetically healthy, it was not restorative, it was not balanced. So we see even now like a lot of that energy coming into a modality. And I have to stress this right now. A few weeks ago, especially during the eclipse, we saw a lot of energy saying, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with partnership. And now we see a lot of that energy in separation that is potentially now saying, I'm done with that type of partnership. I'm done with that type of partnership. I'm done with that type of partnership that moves me away from my manifestation goals in the process of moving towards it. I'm done with that type of relationship that requires me to take, that facilitates that feeling of argumentation or lack of easement, right? This is the energy that says better to be in the point. And this is the energy that says, again, better to wait for the energetic connection that feels like it is in alignment, as opposed to moving towards something that feels like it is oppositional to it. Because that's the energy that says, if you're entering an energetic connection and saying, this isn't great, but maybe it'll get better, like a lot of that energy right there is like, that was the first, like this is the energy going, that was the first sign that something was off kilter, right? Like that's the energy going, there it was right there, it was right off kilter, right from the start, it was right there. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing that is occurring right now as you're moving into divine union, this is the energy, and I need to stress this, this is the energy that has found something off kilter. But I need to stress, this is the energy that doesn't go, oh no, something's off kilter, and they break apart. This isn't the energy that goes, something's off kilter, it must be your fault, right? This isn't the energy that starts pushing blame. This is the energy that says, if something's off kilter, we're going to take care of it together. We're gonna navigate that. We're gonna navigate that together. We're gonna do this together. So we see even here that a lot of that energy is just being very energetically, they're working through it. And this is the energy that's saying and seeing the results. I want to say some of the energy is having those breakthroughs right now and saying, this is something that can be energetically healed. We are actively healing. It's not if, it's not when, it's now. We're not trying, we're doing. Masculine and feminine energy that is coming, that is deep within divine union. This is the energy that's doing a lot of work right now to make something easier. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to make a mess to clean up a mess. Sometimes you got to take everything out to put it back together. Sometimes you got to you know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to throw everything on the floor before you can figure out what it is that you need to do. So we see even now a lot of this energy is going through a lot of those transformational processes, either internally or externally right now, taking something apart to make it easier moving forward. And that, that's messy, but it's sensible. Right? It's bear with me. We are currently under construction. Please bear with us as you see the appearance. Final card for today's spread between our 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our King of Wands in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union. A lot of this work that we're seeing right now, it is having a different impact. I want to say and I'm going to say this even now. I feel like masculine right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I just keep seeing this like level and degree of over like and it's like both of these energies right now. Okay, so I see masculine in that space of needing to energetically prioritize rest, having a hard time communicating it to feminine. Masculine, make sure that you're articulating your emotional needs to feminine. It's not your, it's not your responsibility. You don't have to carry that weight all the time. It's okay. And I can see a lot of the feminine energy articulating to masculine and saying it's okay to ask for things. If there's something that you need, make sure that you're articulating what that need is instead of feeling and like overdrawn, as it were, energetically. While for feminine right now, I see that, and that's why I see even now for a lot of the masculine energy, I also see that there's a lot of energetic. And I need to stress this, a lot of energetic fastidiousness that's arriving as it relates to feminine, specifically because, I see even now, like masculine coming into that modality of trusting in the feminine, helping the feminine through something, but also building into that state of confidence with the feminine. I see even here, a lot of this is being articulated and defined by that moment or modality of balance to a certain extent. And for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is more of that. And we're going to start talking about the energy coming into divine union. A lot of this work in communicating emotions. Like this is some of that scorpionic energy that's starting to enter now that we're moving out of Libra season into Scorpio season. There's a lot of this unpacking here. And for a lot of the masculine energy, I see even now like a lot of this processing, learning to articulate upon something, being able to emotionally express something to feminine. Like this is more of that work that we see that masculine is working on healing their own wounds in intimacy by building trust with the feminine to a certain degree. Feminine continuing to do a lot of that work as well, building into that sensor space of emotional balance, as it were. And for a lot of the feminine energy in that modality, I see even now that for a lot of that energy doing that work, coming into divine union, that's that sense or that space. And I can see even now why this feels somewhat energetically triggering, right? Because for the masculine right now, a lot of that work that's being facilitated upon is learning to feel emotionally safe and opening up to the feminine. For a lot of the feminine, a lot of that is not allowing the shadows of the past to overshadow the present, not coming into that space of assumption, right? Learning to trust towards the masculine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. So this is masculine, and I need to stress this. This is masculine working on healing intimacy wounds. This is feminine working on healing trust wounds. So a little bit of counter-oppositional work that's happening here, but all towards the same energetic benefit, right? Working to heal moments or experiences in the past via the present. Now for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation right now, so much of this energy that we're recognizing and identifying in separation, I want to say this is that amplification point of something that feels like it is moving in a very slow way. Same exact lesson that we see is occurring here right now. Masculine and energy in separation, learning to build into that space and feeling comfortable articulating the emotions. It's hard. I see it even here. This is hard work for the masculine right now in separation, because I see even now that for a lot of the masculine energy, articulating in that way is this is more of that masculine energy that is building into that process of trust that, even here, like masculine, articulating to feminine what they dream, like even here, like this is a lot of that masculine energy healing from those wounds of the past, right? And it's hard because this is a lot of the masculine energy also is healing from masculine energy in the past may have told them not to communicate one's emotions to feminine, right? There's a lot of healing that's happening here. While for feminine, I see that a lot of the feminine coming into that state or space of stability, being able to, again, articulate through the emotions instead of react to them. A lot of the feminine energy, again, healing from the past by affirming and saying the past is not energetically repeating. The past is something that we inform upon, but then we create from. So we see even now, like a lot of those wounds of the past being healed. Feminine being able to push back any energetic trauma and saying, I'm not going to let the past overshadow the present. Masculine, having a lot of that work and saying, I'm going to have this energy, I'm going to go through that energetic breakthrough, even if it feels oppositional to what I've been told is like energetic masculinity, because I just keep seeing a lot of masculine energy healing from a lot of those wounds. Final card, and in that way, like this is all about those communication hurdles. Like I just keep seeing it here, and there's a lot, like a little bit more of an energetically difficult day for masculine, because being able to emotionally express that, I see even now, and this is some of that Scorpio energy, finding productive ways in having emotionally difficult conversations. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, particularly and especially with the Temperance card in its reversal. There feels like a shortening of time right now. It feels like there's a lot that needs to be done in a short period of time. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy navigating forward in that fashion, that sense of not feeling overly rushed, allowing oneself to be energetically patient to a certain extent, right? Being able to, I feel like a lot of the challenge right now is not rushing through things or moving with more energetic slowness. That can feel very counter-oppositional, right? Because a lot of the energy around us right now feels very hurry up. But even so, I'm seeing even now like that sense of requiring or creating a space of patience. The energy that gets it, right? For energy and separation, again, what did we talk about was the difficulty in building consistency? It's time. Only time derives that sense or that feeling of energetic consistency. So we see even now that a lot of that energy, even in that modality, having to have a little bit of that wait and see. But this is the energy that, like, even in that conviction of being able to be patient with one another, they are articulating to one another that they are consistent. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, a lot of this energy I'm seeing right now, it's navigating spaces and places that feel like they may have previously made you temperamental, right? If this is feminine energy that is working towards seeing masculine doing this work, feminine reaffirming their own energetic commitment in being patient with masculine through that process. Like this is a lot of the energy of the feminine that is healing, again, those spaces and places where in feminine was waiting for someone to change versus the energy that is actively changing and being patient in that process. While for masculine right now, that sense or that space of doing something and potentially doing something that you recognize that the feminine does with a lot more easement, don't get frustrated with yourself. Just don't get frustrated with yourself. Remember, it can be very easy to be frustrated with ourselves as we're learning. But that brings us to the energy deep within divine union, because the energy deep within divine union is giving one another compassion in one's own frustrations, reaffirming their own energetic commitment to one another and telling each other that they're doing the best that they can. And this is a lot of that energy that is reaffirming and saying to one another, that ability of doing so. Don't feel like you need to do everything. Just prioritize the things that you need to do and let that guide you. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings for today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Lover's Tarot card. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot on Wednesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. Our next class will be focused on the Chariot. I cannot wait to teach this class with you. I feel like the Chariot card is often misinterpreted. I'm very excited to give you my take upon it. If you would like to become a part of that class program, now is the perfect time to do so, because not only will your subscription be your ticket to next month's class, but it will also grant you access to the full repository of recordings and course materials for all of our previous classes. So you've got about 6-7 hours worth of material to catch up on. It's not necessary to catch up for our next class. I will be giving a recap in each class as to what we've studied thus far, but it's certainly there for you when you are ready to invest in that learning. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've learned thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you've already enrolled in our classes. And I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class if you're just joining us for the first time. Also, if you are a subscriber here on my TikTok, I would encourage you to head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel. Over there, you will find a special coupon code that will give you an additional discount on those Substack classes. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings and services I provide. I also post my full live schedule there, as well as a list of my upcoming in-person events. You'll also be notified as to our giveaway winners. Speaking of giveaway winners, we are now in the process of having our October giveaway. If you would like to win a free tarot reading with me, simply head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I name the winner, I will be gifting a reading not only to the person that wins, but also to the individual that referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck in this month's giveaway. I also want to let you guys know that we currently have moderator applications open. If you are interested in becoming a moderator here on this channel with me, I offer a very comprehensive gift back program. You'll also have access to an amazing group of moderators that have joined me on this journey. I deeply appreciate and value each and every one of you. To become a part of that application process, simply head over to my Substack. There's a link at the top of that Substack, or you can email me directly at gracestrega@gmail.com. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are classes that can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series. That is 4 45-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal, and one of the things about these classes is that they are classes that are for those individuals that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. They are focused on whatever area of personal growth or spiritual development you are most invested in learning about. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 45-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.